Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me on today's training session. We're going to be talking about your 2021 Internet Marketing Plan and what you can do to maximize your lead flow going into the new year. Thinking and planning ahead on your marketing plan is one of those things we should do every year because the Internet marketing equation is constantly changing, from the various Google algorithm changes to Google Maps to Google local service ads to what's working with pay-per-click and what's not working in Facebook ads and everything in between. The start of the year is a great time to pause, think about your goals for the new year, and get clear on what you want to accomplish for your remodeling, home building, or home improvement business. Gaining a clear marketing perspective helps you build a plan to succeed and keeps you on track for hitting your goals. I want to make sure that everyone downloaded the workbook that we're going to be following today in our training. It's your 2021 Internet Marketing Plan Workbook. The link is in the comments. Be sure that you have this downloaded. We're going to be doing some exercises and thinking through some stuff. And this workbook will help to make sure you leave the session thinking about what you need to implement within your company and what you're going to do to make sure you actually execute on these ideas. Sound good? All right, let's jump in. So here's what we're going to cover on today's session. First of all, we're going to set some goals for 2021. We'll talk a little bit about setting goals for your revenue goals in 2021 and what that will look like from a customer leads perspective and how many leads you'll need to hit that target. The important concept here is that you can't hit a target that you don't aim for, as well as the importance of thinking through how many leads you're going to need to hit those goals based on your typical closing percentages. This includes thinking through all of your marketing channels and knowing what to expect based on historical returns from those channels. This includes volume that is kind of baked into your sales based on your brand and your reputation and referrals and repeat business, as well as leads from all across the internet, including via SEO, pay-per-click ads, Google local service ads, social media, and other lead generation services. I really want to spend a little bit of time getting clarity on that target because with clarity, we can build plans, we can appropriate budgets, and we can bring goals into existence. And then we're going to talk about the three fundamentals of marketing success and the tactics and strategy involved. It's always good to revisit your strategy at the beginning of each year and have those three fundamentals help you get refocused on your ideal customer, where they're hanging out, what your marketing message is, and how to get their attention. Next, we'll talk about how to optimize your website for conversion in 2021 and beyond, including what's working right now for websites and what doesn't work anymore. So we'll spend a little bit of time looking at some best practices, website setup, your website design, conversion elements of your website to make sure your website will rank well, but it will also actually convert visitors into book calls as effectively and efficiently as possible. Then we're going to look at the big picture of your online marketing and all the channels that you could be tapping into in order to maximize your lead flow. There are a lot, right? So we're just going to get clear on those different channels, and then we're going to drill down on some of the new trends, the things that have changed, and then develop a specific action plan based on that. This will be your 2021 Internet Marketing Plan that you can implement starting today. This will get you thinking about your SEO initiatives, how much you're going to allocate to hit these volume numbers and goals, and to make sure you're clear on what you need to do to accomplish your goals and what that will look like in 2021. So I'm going to ask for your attention. We have a great live group with us today. I'm just going to ask that everyone turn off your cell phones, log out of Facebook, close any other browser tabs. If you're completely serious about getting better results in 2021, if you're fully intent upon growing your revenue in 2021, I really believe the next 75 minutes or so could be a real game changer for your company. Get completely focused on this training. Have your workbooks ready to rock and roll, and let's make this as interactive as possible. I'll be asking questions and looking for engagement. So feel free to chat with me in the comments. That way I know you're there and we can make this a vibrant conversation and share input from many perspectives. I promise you, if you engage with me and you do the exercises in your workbook, you're going to get a lot more value out of today's session than if you don't. I know you have 100 things going on running your business, and there are a lot of things competing for your attention, but I want you to focus on putting together a winning marketing plan for 2021. So, a little bit about me and why you should listen. I've been into computers and writing code since the mid-late 80s when I learned coding in our high school's first computer coding classes. So suffice to say, I know my way around a computer and what it takes to succeed from a digital marketing standpoint. I'm also a former home remodeler and custom home developer, having developed million-dollar custom homes here in Denver. So this gives me a unique insight into the challenges that we face and how to build a successful remodeling or home improvement business. And as most of you know, otherwise you wouldn't be on today's session, I'm the author of How to Triple Your Sales by Leveraging the Power of Internet Marketing for Contractors and Remodeling Companies. This book includes all the things that have changed and all the new updates within internet marketing that will help you succeed by getting your internet marketing right. If you'd like to get a copy of this book, reach out to us. We'd love to get you a copy of the book and help you get your digital marketing on track. So this is what we do. We work exclusively with remodeling companies, home builders, and home improvement contractors. We've worked with a lot of them from across the country to the point where they are now the dominant player in their area. Most of them are getting dozens and dozens of calls via the internet every single month. What I share is not based on theory. It's not based on speculating what might possibly work for contractors and remodeling companies. It's based on my real-world experience within those exact industries and my team's role and experience working with companies in this space. What we share in our trainings is based specifically on those experiences. It's important to always be listening to people that have experience in your type of business and not just general knowledge, or more importantly, not just information that they read somewhere but have never actually implemented in the real world. We're not a generalist marketing agency that claim to specialize in working with contractors and remodeling companies, but yet only have a few clients in that space, while also working with every other profession out there: doctors, dentists, attorneys, car dealers, you name it. Home Remodeler SEO has chosen to specialize in this space based on our experience, and this is what has made us one of the best in the industry. We're on a mission to triple the sales of 1,000 remodeling companies and home improvement contractors. And so this is what we do. We handle all of the implementation of these ideas and strategies, setting up the website, doing the SEO, running the pay-per-click campaigns, putting the ROI tracking in place. And so if you would like to talk with us about implementing this for you and having us really become your strategic partner to generate the best results online possible, we'd love the opportunity to talk with you. We start with a one-on-one complete evaluation of your current online marketing strategy and show you how we can help. The strategy session would be customized for your business. We'll dive in and we'll look at your website. We'll show you exactly where there's room for improvement and how we can help you achieve new highs in your business. We've already had several companies take us up on this in the lead up to this training session. So if you're interested in working with us and having us implement a plan for you, all you have to do is post in comments and we'll get it on the calendar. So what's the hardest part about marketing your home improvement or remodeling business online? Think about that for a second. Write it down on the first page in your workbook and post any comments if you have them. I'd love to hear from a couple of you right now. I'm going to give you a minute to kind of get in the right mind frame, because this isn't going to be an hour and a half of me just talking and rambling on. It's going to be very interactive. So what's the hardest part? What's the challenge in finding success with digital marketing? Where are you getting stuck in your internet marketing? Where are you not achieving the return on investment that you're looking for? Or is it not really knowing where your marketing dollars are going? Is it not getting the kind of rankings that you want? So in comments, Jim says Google pay-per-click ads are extremely high in spam, lots of fake clicks, and some fake calls that are eating up his budget. Okay, I get it. George says getting his newly designed website ranking on page 1 of Google. Okay, I get that frustration as well. I hear that one often. Laura says the hardest part is figuring out a marketing plan and what goals to set and what's realistic. Okay, great. This kind of gives me a sense of some of the challenge some of you all are facing, and so we'll address a lot of that in today's training. As you look at your 2021 plan, we would be remiss not to spend a little bit of time getting clear about your goals, right? Because if you're not clear on what you're trying to accomplish, then you could spend a lot of money per month in digital advertising and hope that it works out without clarity and what you're actually trying to accomplish. Hope is not a strategy. We want to make sure and get clear on your goals, and more importantly, how that breaks down into lead volume targets so that you can set a marketing plan that's based on helping you accomplish the goals that you've set for yourself. There's a favorite saying of mine that I've heard. It says, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. It's really as simple as that. So if you're not clear on your goals and working towards the accomplishment of some very specific goal, you wind up chasing your tail, right? You get caught up in busy work, activities, and distractions that aren't helping you get closer to your goals. In the absence of goals, you're almost like a sailboat out at sea, right? With no wind, you're just kind of drifting aimlessly. And it can kind of be frustrating because you've got a business and you know that you want to go somewhere, but there's just no momentum, there's no wind, and you just feel stuck. And what's awesome, though, is that any time in your business that you feel stuck or you feel you're stagnated, you can change that by setting some goals and some targets, right? You can set annual targets, you can set quarterly targets, you can set monthly targets. And whenever I've done this in my own life and in my business, it's created momentum for me, it's created focused activity, and it's always helped me get unstuck and moving forward. There's an amazing Harvard study that was performed way back in the 1970s. You've probably even heard of this one. Here's what it found. They interviewed the graduates from 1979 and they asked them, do you have specific goals? And 84% of them answered no. So when they were graduating, so they're graduating from Harvard. These are smart folks. This is some of the smartest, some of the sharpest graduates in the world. And 84% of them answered that they had no written goals. And only 13% had goals, but they weren't written down. And then only 3% of them said, I want to accomplish this. I want to make this amount of money. I want to live in this type of house. And so they had in their mind clarity on what they wanted to accomplish, but again, only 3% of them had these goals and had taken the extra step to take out a pen and paper and write them down. Only 3%. And you might find yourself saying, well, who cares, right? What difference does it make? But it does make a difference. Having your goals written down and in front of you daily, weekly, and monthly. If you have goals and you have them written down, then it's that ability to create your own win, to create your own momentum, and make sure you reach those goals. And what that Harvard study found was that 13% of the class who had their goals written down, those graduates were earning twice as much as the 84% that didn't write their goals down. So double the amount of salary. Now you'd imagine these guys probably make pretty good money graduating from Harvard. But what's more important is that the 3% that had written goals, they were earning 10 times as much as the other 97% of graduates combined. And I've seen this play out in my life. I found it to be true in our business, and I found this to be true in the lives of the remodeling companies and home improvement contractors that we serve, the ones that are spending the time to get clear on a goal, spending the time to write them down, and then create their own momentum. These are the ones that win and are the ones that make the most money. And so that's why I feel it's so important to get clarity on goal setting. So take a moment and get some goals down on paper and think about putting together a plan to bring it into reality for you and your business. A goal setting framework that I found to be the most effective is having a goal as well as having a written plan that you share with employees so that everyone else is on the same page when it comes to what you're trying to accomplish. And I think what you want to have at a minimum is a one-year goal. So looking forward into 2021, by the end of the year, where do we want to be? How much revenue do you want to be at? How many calls will that take? How many leads do you need to generate to make that revenue goal a reality? And then you want to break that down into quarters, because one of the best goal-setting frameworks is to think in terms of 90-day sprints. So yeah, you can set a goal to get you to the end of 2021, and that's great. You want to do that. But the fact is, you can't keep yourself motivated and doing work and doing activity for an entire 365 days without revisiting your goals periodically. But it's much easier to keep that focus for 90 days. So that's why I like to take your annual goal, break it down into quarters, Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4, and then break those further down into monthly goals and monthly targets. And the one thing that I think is most important with this whole process is you also have to have a stopping point at the beginning of each of those periods to reflect back. Did you hit the target or did you not? Because what I find is that most businesses, they set some goals, right? Maybe you're trying to do $5 million in annual revenue, and the year passes, but you never really pause to say, did we get the $5 million or did we not? Even breaking it into quarters, the year can still kind of breeze by, and when you don't have a stopping point to reflect, did you hit your goal or not, it becomes a wasted exercise. If you put a plan into place, if you do the work, if you stay focused, then you can make it a reality. I think one of the most powerful muscles we can develop as human beings is the power of manifestation and creating your own reality. And so with all that being said, I think we all believe in the power of goals and the value of goal setting. Take just a moment now in your workbook and write down some tangible goals for your company in 2021. There are a couple goals I want you to pay attention to that will help you hit those targets that you lay out in your 2021 marketing plan. In order to hit your revenue targets, you need to know how many leads that you need to generate. And then based on your marketing plan and marketing channels used, how many of those need to come from the internet? Then you need to figure out how much you need to spend in order to make that a reality. So what I want you to start with is, what's your annual revenue for 2021? What's that goal look like? Is that a realistic goal for 2021? And then I want you to come up with a monthly target in order to stay on track throughout the year. So if the goal is, let's just call it 5 million, divide that by 12, that's going to be your monthly target. Next, we'll need to do some exercises to figure out this revenue number, which will be based on how many calls or how many leads that will require in order to make it a reality. To figure that out, you first have to figure out what your average transaction value is and then do that math. This is all in the workbook that you downloaded, so I encourage you to run these numbers for yourself. You need to be clear on your annual goal, on your monthly goals, and then understand how many leads it's going to require on a monthly basis to make that a reality. So let's just say, as an example, your annual goal is 2 million. If we divide that by 12, then your monthly target is 167,000, right? In order to get to 2 million annually, you'd have to do 160,000 in revenue per month. So I just want to pause real quick because, again, this is our mission critical moment of goal setting. Let's take a moment here and see who's doing their homework in their workbook while they're going through this training. If you would, take a moment, make sure you're running your numbers like you see here and know where your goals are. What I want you to think about is your average transaction value and where that needs to be, because this will guide you on how many jobs you need to book on a monthly basis to make that annual revenue number a reality. This is going to be different for everyone, so I realize that if you specialize in doing a lot of small to mid-sized bathroom jobs, for example, your average transaction value might only be around 15,000 or so. But if you're doing full high-end basement or kitchen remodels or home additions or even building custom homes, then your average transaction value is going to be much higher, possibly even into 6 figures for every job. So just be clear on that average number across all your jobs and be realistic here, because fudging these numbers will only do you a disservice. And then with those numbers, all you have to do is divide the monthly target, whatever that is for you, 167,000 our example, by your average transaction value. That will tell you how many jobs you need to book per month to hit your target. If you want to go ahead and take a moment and put your numbers in the comments, let's see where everyone's at. This is the number you need to focus on, that you need to build your marketing plan around. So make sure you have clarity here. Okay, great. I see some comments here. Justin has his number. Great job, Karen. Good job with yours. That looks like a realistic and attainable goal. Okay, cool. Keep those numbers rolling in. Just want to make sure everyone's doing their homework. I want to make sure everyone's doing the exercise. It won't help you put together a plan if you're not taking the time to run these numbers. Now, from here, we can figure out the number of leads you're going to need, right? And really, that's what this is all about. I mean, there's only so much I can do to help you hit your revenue target, right? There are a lot of things you can do, from improving your conversion rates on the phone, to improving your follow-up sales processes, to improving your average ticket value once you start mapping out the client's project. But from a marketing perspective, what I want to help you focus on is generating enough leads to make that revenue goal a reality. In order to determine the number of leads needed, you have to figure out what your average conversion rate is. That is, from call to a booked estimate, and then divide that by your target. One thing to note here too is that you're trying to get to your average transaction value, which may differ across lead types, whether it's a lead from the internet, like on Google, versus a lead from a lead generation site like Houzz or Home Advisor, which might be a much lower conversion rate. And then, of course, referrals should always have a high conversion rate. These rates can run the gamut from as low as 25% to as high as 80-90%. So you really need to blend these numbers together and determine what your average conversion rate is overall. So then what we want to do is divide our number of jobs that we need in order to hit our target. That gets divided by your conversion rate. So if your average conversion rate is 55%, and you know you need 11 booked jobs, that will tell you how many leads you need to generate per month in order to hit your monthly revenue target, which will help you get to your annual revenue target. So an example, if you had 11 booked jobs needed in order to make that monthly revenue goal a reality, divide that by your 55% conversion rate. That means you need 20 leads per month to hit your goals. Make sure you have this number, because from a marketing perspective, everything you need to do can be engineered around this calculation. Then it becomes, how do you make sure you generate 20 leads per month, or whatever that number is in your particular world? So let me hear from a couple of you in the comments just to make sure we're clear. Either give me a yes, I get it, or give me your specific number. Put that in the comments and make sure you have that number written down in your workbook, because this is going to be one of the most important numbers to drive what you're going to do for this new year. Okay, see a few comments here. Colleen has her number. Todd says his number is 17 qualified leads per month needed. Okay, cool. Brian says he wants to call to talk about this. Okay, we'll take care of that for you, Brian. Okay, good. Good. Some more numbers rolling in. It looks like you guys are working along with me. If this is not making sense for you, just let me know so that we can help you run these numbers and dial in your targets, because this is really going to drive the rest of your activity. You might even want to state this goal, write these numbers down on a whiteboard in your office for everyone to see each month, and sort of make it a goal in and of itself to track these and work hard towards achieving them every month. This is what's going to help you accomplish your goals or not accomplish your goals in 2021. Okay, we're now clear on how many leads you're going to need to generate monthly in order to make your target revenue a reality. And so now we need to get to work on developing the plan, developing the strategy that's going to help drive those leads. Make sure you get these numbers dialed in. As we start to build out a plan to make that a reality, we have to start with the fundamentals, right? What are the basic things you need to revisit every year to make sure that your marketing plan is as dialed in as possible, to make sure that your conversion rates are as tight as possible, to make sure that your target is as clear as possible. Because when you have the fundamentals in place, you can actually generate leads at a lower cost per lead. You can convert at a higher level, and it can make everything that you do so much more effective and cost effective. So the second thing I want to do right now is just spend a couple minutes updating our marketing message. And it really comes down to these three key pillars, right? The fundamentals are, first of all, you have to know your market. Like, to be really clear on who it is that you sell to, because the clearer you are on your market, as in who is that ideal customer, how many years in home ownership are they in a specific area, do they have a specific amount of income, etc. Because the clearer we are on that market and who our ideal customer is, the better we can craft the messaging that resonates with that person. Messaging about why somebody should choose you to work with and why you're the go-to company, and really make sure that that message matches the market. And with that, then we can put together the media strategy, right? How do we get that message in front of the ideal customer? These are the three key pillars of marketing success, and when you get them dialed in, again, it makes everything work so much better. So the first is, who is your market? Who is your ideal customer? We want to spend a couple minutes thinking about your ideal customer. There's a quote that I found that really rings true, and that's, if you can see Joe Jones through Joe Jones's eyes, then you can sell what Joe Jones wants to buy. So just spend a couple minutes in your workbook and start working to identify who your ideal customer avatar is. It really is worth spending some time thinking about this, getting this dialed in, as it is so important for helping to craft your marketing message that's going to resonate throughout all of your marketing initiatives. So this is obviously a homeowner. They're 35 years or older. Really, we've found it can be either a male or the female in the household as one that's making the buying decision, depending on whether it's the kitchen or the basement, man cave, right? On average, married with 2 kids, head of the household, depending upon the market, usually at least $90,000 in annual income, family-oriented, very reliable, easily frustrated. Typically, they're not handy. They don't want to have to try and fix it themselves. Even if they did, they wouldn't know what to do with it. So these are some of the demographics across our client base that we're seeing. Also, now that we're in the grips of the COVID-19 virus, we're seeing a lot of people that are now stuck working from home and looking to make some upgrades, either out of necessity or purely from an aesthetic standpoint and not wanting to look at that old, outdated room anymore. I would love to have you all just spend a second thinking about your ideal customer, the customer that you deal with day to day, the ones that tend to pay a premium, that aren't worried about price or trying to cut corners. We also want to think about their fears and other implications. They aren't worried about paying a premium for premium services, but they also don't want to feel that they're getting ripped off. If you have that, then you know they're not sweating these types of things. That's your ideal customer. Are there other demographic elements that are distinctive to that customer? Because the more clear you are on the customer, you can really visualize them and how to market to them and craft your message around getting the job booked. This way, you can write your marketing and the content on your website to speak to them. The better it's going to resonate with them, the better your marketing is going to work. That means your marketing dollars will get you more bang for your buck. I'll give you 30 seconds to work on this particular piece. Again, a minute spent developing clarity on your ideal customer right here can really pay dividends throughout the course of the year and the goals that you have set. Okay, another thing too is that we've noticed that customers are just happy to get a quality company on the phone. We do call tracking for all of our clients to track their leads and ROI and all that, but you'd be surprised how many folks say they're just happy to have gotten someone on the phone, someone that actually answers. Whether it's contractors being too busy to even answer their phone, not returning voicemails, or whatever may be going on, we hear time and again from frustrated customers that they can't even get a remodeling company to come out and take a look at their project. Most of these customers have disposable income, they're ready to move forward, they're ready to create a better space in their home. Now they just need a reputable company to walk through a project estimate for them, and it's very frustrating for them to not be able to accomplish this with so many companies that they call and no one answering their phone. So to the extent that you can dial in on this idea of that you're liable for all your company's first impression, you're going to answer the phone, you're going to return calls promptly, you're going to show up on time, and you'll make sure to present yourself professionally. Your customers want to make sure you treat them and their home with respect, that you keep things cleaned up at the end of each day, you look out for their pets. These are the things that you always want to be thinking through. These are all things that not only will resonate with your marketing, with your company's reputation, but also will help you win more jobs. So it's important to spend a couple minutes thinking this stuff through, because you can make sure that you're creating a marketing message that resonates with your ideal customer. Again, if you can see Joe Jones through Joe Jones's eyes, you can sell in a way that Joe Jones wants to buy. Why is that somebody will choose you versus the competition? These are the things that will help distinguish you from your competitors. So again, this is page 5 in our workbook. I'll just share some examples messaging-wise that have worked well with our clients. I find when we look at our online marketing, if we look at our websites, if we look at our pay-per-click ads, if we look at our social media posts at times, they're very technical in nature. We say, hey, when we do all these variety of services, remodeling kitchens, bathroom basements, room additions, but in reality, your customer's not focused as much on that. They already know that, or they wouldn't be looking at your content. They won't be looking at your website. What they do care about is, are you going to answer your phone? Are you going to show up on time? Are you going to treat them fairly? Will it be easy to schedule with you? Are you going to stand behind what you said you were going to do? Will you handle all the details, handle the permits, deal with meeting inspectors, follow all the rules and not take shortcuts? Is your pricing straightforward? There's no hidden cost. Everything is transparent. Does all of this create a perception of trustworthiness and experience in the industry? And when you can infuse that message into your website, your text ads, your campaigns, again, it's going to resonate in a different way. It's going to work better. So this is the messaging that works and that resonates with potential customers. Free estimates and ease of scheduling, money-saving offers, straightforward pricing, no hidden costs, project managers to oversee every project, guaranteed trustworthiness, expert and experienced craftsmen who are dedicated to their craft and that will leave your home cleaner than they found it. Great service and quality guaranteed, and that you're going to stand behind what you say you're going to do and back that up with your company's reputation. So this is important, right? I don't want to understate that having clarity on your target market, having messaging that's going to resonate with them is super important. And so make sure you're spending a little bit of time on this, really dialing in this messaging, because it really can make the difference between profitability in your marketing and spending a lot of money, getting a lot of eyeballs, but not having those eyeballs converted into leads and booked estimates and jobs. So definitely make sure you invest some time on this, get that unique selling proposition dialed in, and then position yourselves differently from your competitors. So now we're clear on our client target, we're clear on message, and now we can look at media. I appreciate everyone indulging me with, on the whole messaging piece, because it's really important. Most of us, myself included, are much more interested in the tactics. You're probably thinking, I get it, I get the messaging part, I get the media aspect, I get all the targeting stuff. But let's talk about where we can advertise. Let's talk about SEO and pay-per-click and Google local service ads and all the other fun stuff. Of course, all the fun SEO stuff is important. It's something that I'm really passionate about, actually, but getting your messaging right is really worth talking about as well. Now, as we look at media, right, the fact is your customers are going to end up on your website, and so it's critical to make sure that your website converts visitors into phone calls and ultimately into booked jobs. At some point, they're going to wind up on your website before they call, before they fill out a web form, before they convert into a lead for you. And so regardless of the marketing that you do, the fact is your website will make or break the effectiveness of all the advertising that you do. So I want everyone to spend a couple minutes thinking about your website. That's the central hub. It's where all of your other advertising lands. And so make sure that your website is built to convert at the highest level possible. Because if you think about it like a bucket, you take a bucket and you fill it with water, assuming it's a good bucket that's going to hold the water, right? But if there's a bunch of holes in the bottom of the bucket, it's going to leak all over the place. So it would have been a full bucket, but now it's a half bucket, and then a quarter bucket, and then it's not working at all. So now that's how you need to think about your website. If your website isn't converting your visitors at the highest level possible, it's like a leaky bucket that you're spending money on, right? You're engaging in an SEO program. You're doing Google local service ads. Maybe you're doing pay-per-click advertising. Maybe you have your trucks wrapped. Maybe you're running Valpak ads or other print advertising and neighborhood circulars. But if your website has holes, then you're not going to be getting the maximum return on investment from all that advertising that you do. And so page number 6 in your workbook is all about how to optimize your website for maximum conversion. I'm going to dive into this with you, and I'm going to show you an example of what I found to be a website that is really built to convert and the key elements that you want to look for as you set up your own website. So a good example of this is Columbus Basement and Bathroom Remodeling. They're a remodeling firm that specializes in basement and bathroom remodeling located in Columbus, Ohio. Here's a screenshot of their homepage. And this is a website that converts exceptionally well, delivering them several leads each and every month. So we talk about messaging, right? The website speaks to those desires that customers are looking for, to upgrading their home life, upgrading their lifestyle, and making their basement a more comfortable space to live and possibly work in. The other things that you'll notice is that right within the homepage of their website, you have a couple things going on. You have a phone number in the top right-hand corner. That's a crucial element. If you don't have a phone number in the top right, or at least top left-hand corner, you're leaving money on the table. That's where people want to engage. They're conditioned to look for a phone number there. There's also a call to action there, an incentive to get them to pick up the phone and call you. So we want to make sure that you're giving them opportunities to engage and giving them multiple channels to use to do that. So have your phone number there in the header and make sure it's a click-to-call phone number. That's now a Google ranking factor, since Google knows that more people across the internet access the internet via their mobile devices nowadays than they do via desktop computers. And so they want to make sure users have a good user experience when visiting websites that their search engine suggests. You also want to have a web form they can fill out where they can enter all their contact info and the nature of their inquiry. Lots of people nowadays are just so busy that they would rather get the conversation started by submitting a web form first before making a call. Getting them to fill out that web form is also helped by showcasing your reviews from your other previous happy customers. If you're not featuring real reviews from real customers on your website, you're leaving money on the table. Nowadays, it's this kind of social proof that inspires people to want to work with the best in the business, and that's you. And then you also see other technical elements on the page, like a great title tag for the website that talks about exactly what they specialize in. And of course, this is the first thing Google sees when their search engine crawls the website. We also have header tags that feature high-value keyword, again, to draw Google's attention to that. And of course, you need content that speaks to this company, and it's content that hasn't been plagiarized from somewhere else on the internet. You'd be amazed by how many companies do that. So your first question probably is, does this website really convert visitors into customers? Well, here's a traffic breakdown graph that bears out that truth. When we took over, this website was only getting less than 40 or 50 visitors a month. Since taking over and optimizing the website and building more authority to it, their website visitors have skyrocketed to where they're consistently getting 200 to 250 site visitors every month. And the call tracking that we have in place also shows a similar increase, with over triple the amount of monthly calls coming in. All of this is then tabulated into our executive KPI summary, which tracks all of our important metrics and goals so that we know exactly what our marketing performance is doing. We know exactly how many leads we're bringing in and what that cost per lead is. Again, if you're not tracking your numbers, there's no way to know how effective your marketing initiatives are or what level of return on investment you're achieving for your marketing investment. I was almost hesitant to show this summary because some of these numbers are simply staggering from a lead perspective. But this is truly what is possible with a well-optimized website that is built to convert, as well as being a website that has built a lot of online authority and trust in the eyes of the search engines, as well as customers looking for those services. So here's a cheat sheet of sorts for you. It's what we call our website conversion blueprint. This handy little cheat sheet helps you get found online by guiding you some of the technical aspects that need to be incorporated into your website. Things such as title tags, H tags, image alt tags, keywords, exact matching name, address, and phone number, and your social media channels. But then it also goes into crafting the right messaging, clearly outlining your unique selling proposition, social proof such as testimonials from real clients, photos of you and your team that tend to resonate really well nowadays with site visitors who want to get a sense of who you are before they are willing to engage with you. And then other important elements like dynamic insertion tracking phone numbers, lead submission forms, and chat functionality. If anyone wants this cheat sheet, just post a comment with your name and email, and we'll be sure to get that out to you right away. And so ask yourself now, is your website set up for conversion? Do you have all the right elements in place? Does your website speak to your ideal customer avatar? Does your website feature real imagery of you, your team, and your past projects? Are you leveraging the power of video? Do you have videos highlighting your team and services? Videos convert at 8 times better than written content. People love to watch engaging videos and see before and after transformations. What we have found to work great is a welcome video on your homepage, something like the owner welcoming you to the website and sharing a little bit about their company philosophy and helping customers realize their dream home. This can really make an impact, especially when you consider that your competition, all your competitors out there, probably aren't doing this. Then, does your website feature real reviews from real customers? And better yet, have links to those reviews on the real review platforms like Google or Yelp, where those reviews were originally posted. This lends a lot more credibility than just text posted on your website in quotes. Next, are your contact details in order? Are they easily found on your website? Have you given potential customers many forms of communication to contact you? Do you belong to any associations that lend credibility to your company? Being in well-known associations like NARI, the National Association for the Remodeling Industry, or the NAHB, the National Association of Home Builders, lends more credibility to your company and lets potential customers know that you take pride in your work, continue to be an advocate for your industry, and are continually striving to make it better. So these are some of the things to think about. I urge you to take a look at your own website and ask yourself if you're addressing all of these elements, because if you're not, improving upon these conversion elements will only help your website be found more in the search results and ultimately will help convert more site visitors into happy customers. Working and talking with hundreds of builders and remodeling companies across the country, one of the biggest issues we see are unconverted leads. Site visitors are scrolling through your site, they're filling out web forms, or even engaging with you using chat functionality. But a good proportion of these leads go unconverted, leaving you with conversion rates that are much lower than they should be. This could be as high as 50 to 60% of inbound leads that leave unconverted. And when I say unconverted, I mean that they have a conversation with you, but then they say that they'll call back. Or they'll say, let me check with my wife, or let me think this over some more and I'll call you back. And one of the problems is your web forms where people submit their name, their phone number, email address, and a quick detail of what they're looking to accomplish. But a web form can often be a place where leads go to die because most of you guys are so busy that you don't even have time to deal with the inbound call that comes in and even talk to the customer, much less follow up on lead forms that get overlooked in your email inbox. Another problem with lead forms is that when you do follow up with them, maybe you send them an email or two, and when they don't reply, that's it. You don't do anything for you. You get busy with other leads coming in, and you simply move on. But I really believe this is a massive opportunity because if you can convert at a higher rate with your lead forms, if you can convert at a higher level with a number of people that call in, if you have follow-up mechanisms in place, you're going to close more jobs. This is where having a CRM in place can help, one where you can send automated email follow-up sequences, automated text, and even set automated reminders for you or your staff to place a call directly to them in order to add them back and add that personal touch back into the process. Another key element too is to make sure that you're following up with leads within 15 minutes or less so that they don't go cold as these people find a connection with another company. As a matter of fact, we found that leads that are followed up within 5 minutes or less are 600% more likely to convert into a booked consultation. So that's a staggering difference. Everyone in sales knows that the average customer must be followed up with at least 5 to 7 times, and sometimes even more. So that just shows you that follow-up and the consistency of follow-up is a crucial element to booking more jobs. And so I believe that we've developed a pretty cool solution for this. It's what I call leveraging marketing automation. I think it's really important as we go into 2021 that we're thinking about next level things that can improve conversion rates. And so what can we do with marketing automation is make it so that every single web form that gets submitted on your website initiates automatic follow-up. Someone fills out the form and automatically in the first 30 seconds, a call goes to the office forcing a contact request. So it would call the office and say, hey, you have a new lead form from John Smith. Press 1 to connect now. And it forces your team to make that initial call. But then also it would automatically shoot a text message to the customer that just filled out the form saying, hey, you just submitted a form. Here's our cell phone number. Feel free to give us a call or an email back, or even text message us at the office if you'd like some help immediately. And then automate the follow-up and the touches after that, so that the 50% or 60% of the leads that didn't convert immediately are getting emailed or texted daily until they reply back and engage with you, or they say, leave me alone. So this is an amazing way to not let so many leads slip through the cracks. And this happens to everyone we know, but with the use of marketing automation, it gives you much better chance of converting some of those lost leads and turning them into new clients. It also gives you the ability to stay in touch with them longer, since we know that remodeling jobs tend to take some time to close, but many companies just don't stay in touch as long as they need to in order to maximize their conversions. We can really bridge that gap between those unconverted leads to booked jobs through the use of marketing automation, and this could be a real game changer for your business. So you should be thinking about what are the platforms out there that can do this, that can make it easy for your customer to engage via chat, that can make sure that every lead is followed up with between 5 and 6 times, and that there's an easy mechanism where the text messages back and forth can be handled either by somebody on your staff or by a service that can manage those two-way communications with your customers and prospects. So if you want to learn more about marketing automation, make sure to reach out to us and we can share with you some of our marketing automation platforms and solutions. The math can really speak for itself on this. So let's say a client gets 100 leads, but let's say they're only converting at 30% because there's no automation in place. There's no follow-up marketing. There's no text messaging. It's just answering the phone or maybe even missing calls. And if they book it, great. If they don't, hopefully the customer will call back. So for every 100 leads, they generate only about 30% of that are getting booked at an average transaction value of $15,000. That ends up being $450,000 in revenue, which sounds exciting, sure, but it's definitely not going to be as effective and as efficient as it could be for that same marketing investment if they implemented marketing automation, put it in place. Now you have text messaging that goes out, you have automatic calls that go out, you have automatic follow-up mechanisms in place to re-engage with those customers that haven't converted, to get them to raise their hand and reply back and schedule with you. So now you're seeing an average of 70% of those now converting, which ends up being over $1 million in revenue, which is more than double the amount of revenue. That's the power of follow-up and using marketing automation to make it as effective as possible. Ultimately, when you get this dialed in, it can have a massive impact and will make every lead that you generate more valuable and actually make it so that you can generate more leads, spend less money doing it, but still have the revenue and the amount of book jobs that you need in order to hit your sales targets. So I'd love to implement this for you. If this is where you know your marketing is lacking and you know this is where your focus needs to be. I've had a couple of you that have already commented here in the chat, so we'll be following up with you. But if you would like to learn more about this marketing automation stuff, reach out to me via email or call us, reach out to me on Facebook, and we'll get you set up. We've covered a lot of ground here in terms of how to optimize conversion rates. So we'll be sure to reach out to you if you have any questions or feel stuck on any of this. It can be very complicated getting so many marketing follow-up mechanisms in place and getting it automated. But this is what we do for our clients, and so we'd love to be able to help you if you need that help. So we looked at the website, we looked at the key elements. What have been the takeaways for you so far? What did you learn when it comes to having a website that is built to convert? Have you looked at your own website while we've been working and found elements that are definitely lacking or that can use some edits? And so what are your action items? What are the 3 conversion elements that you will dedicate to getting done? Will it be better calls to action? A click-to-call phone number? Maybe a more enticing offer that converts better? Or perhaps a chat feature that you monitor regularly? Really think about this, because none of your advertising is going to be as effective as it could be if your hub, that is your website, isn't converting well or isn't converting as well as it should be. So the next thing we want to make sure is that we know our KPIs and that we're tracking these key performance indicators. With everything going on with online advertising, all the different activities and everything to monitor, it's important to know your metrics to make sure your marketing investment is achieving a positive return on investment. So, what are the KPIs? What are the key things that you absolutely need to know? You need to know how many calls you're getting, right? You have to have call tracking in place. And that call tracking needs to be split out by source. For example, Google Maps leads versus Google Organic SEO leads versus pay-per-click leads. You need to know what your average cost per call is, right? This can be classified as your average cost per call or your average cost per lead. And ideally, you want to have some type of simple dashboard that would show you how much you've spent and how many leads you've got for that marketing investment. This way you can figure out your average cost per lead and then calculate your return on investment for each marketing source. This can tell you exactly how many leads you need per month to hit your sales and revenue goals. This can also show you where you might have conversion issues. In other words, you're hitting your lead targets, but you're not hitting your revenue targets, which means you're not converting leads at a high enough rate. Or your average job value may not be where you thought it was. One thing I know is what gets measured gets done. Tracking your leads, tracking all your lead sources and where all those leads are coming from, Google Maps versus Google Organic, your Facebook ads or Google ads, other lead generation platforms. It's important to dive deep into this info. Otherwise, you'll never know your total number of leads, your average cost per lead, and then your overall return on investment for each of those lead sources. This is the type of reporting that we provide our clients, but it's something that you can easily quantify for yourself with your own in-house marketing team. This level of tracking will also help you better define your 2021 revenue goals, which is important as you focus on growth. At this point, we've also spent some time getting clarity on your market, your message, and your media. We looked at your website and looked at the things we need to do in order to maximize conversions. And we've also set up a simple KPI board for tracking the most important metrics so that we can know, are we on the right track? Are we off track? Are we overspending or are we underspending? And so now it's time to build your 2021 marketing plan. And so I think the easiest way to do this is just to pull up a visual for you of our online dominance method. To me, it really starts with your website. Having a good website that's built to convert. That means showing up in non-paid listings. And I really still have found that some of our best leads, some of our best traffic for our clients comes from people that click on the non-paid organic listings and the Google Maps listings. So for me, it starts with a good foundation, a good website that's built to convert, that's ranking for a variety of keywords in the Google Maps listings and in the organic listings. From there, I found that paid search is probably the next thing you want to be taking advantage of. That's Google AdWords. That's also Google Local Service Ads. which I'll talk about more here in a second because it's 2021 and a big initiative for Google that you all should be paying attention to. But then, of course, there's Facebook ads and building a lead funnel using this platform because the clicks are a lot cheaper than Google ads and can still be just as effective. If you have a good website, if you have good messaging that is targeted to your specific audience, if you're really clear on that target market of yours, then you should be able to spend money and generate more traffic, more calls, and more leads. And the beauty of it is, if your average cost per lead is dialed in because you have good campaigns, then you could spend more, generate more leads, and have a healthy enough margin to convert those leads into jobs to hit your target goals. And then don't forget about retargeting. If you're running SEO and pay-per-click, it just makes sense that you would have retargeting in place, which means retargeting using banner ads that people see on Facebook and on various websites across the internet that drives them back to your website and keeps you top of mind as they continue thinking about their project and searching around on the internet. Next in our online dominance wheel are the online directories ecosystem, which are all of the hundreds of different directories that you could be listed on. And this is kind of a constantly moving target, but one to be paying attention to. Online directories and other lead generation websites can be sites like Yelp or Angie's List is a pretty large one, and you know about them. Howls is another one, Craftjack, and then there are many others. You have to be in all these at least as a free listing to get that backlink for that online directory source. But you should really think about advertising at least in one or two of these to track the metrics, to track the return on investment, and make sure that you've got a presence in all the places where your clients or your potential clients are looking, but also make sure that you're getting a positive return on investment if you are on those platforms. And then you want to make sure that you have a strategy in place to drive repeat and referral business, right? That means how do we get our existing customers that you've already done business with, they know you, they like you, they trust you, and that will eventually want to work with you again. And that can be done through email marketing and staying top of mind with them. Having a database of your customers and nurturing them a couple times a year, giving them new special offers, these things work really well. And your cost to reactivate existing customers is significantly lower than the cost to land a brand new customer. And then being on social media, being on Facebook, being on Instagram, being on Twitter, putting out relevant content on a consistent basis helps you remain top of mind. So what are the things that you're going to put into play? How much money are you going to put into each of these in order to really make sure that you're striving towards the accomplishment of the goals that you've set for your company this year? So a couple key trends for 2021. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I know there are some new things that I want you to be aware of. The biggest one is Google Local Service ads. These are ads that give you that all-in perspective of trying to garner as much page one real estate as you can on Google, and then also address the shift in consumer behavior of people wanting to make calls less so, but rather initiate contact via messaging first. I want to talk a little bit about what that is, how it works, but let me just say, if you're not in on this and you're not participating in Google Local Service ads, you're leaving money on the table. There's no doubt about this. If you're not participating in it, there's lost opportunities, and all your competitors are stealing those leads from you. There's no doubt about that. There's been a major shift from people wanting to dial in on the phone to wanting to have a quicker conversation with you via message or via chat message to just get the ball rolling without having to make a bunch of calls vetting contractors. This is especially prevalent with some of our clients offering HVAC services, roofing service, and window services. But Google Local Service ads are essentially an extension of their ad platform, but they kind of function like a lead generation service as well. Google is featuring these ads at the top of search results, with the distinct difference being that Google guarantees these services. At this point, Google Local Service ads are available all throughout the country. It's just a matter of whether they're available in your service area for your exact service offerings. They've been rolling them out for the last couple years for services like plumbing, HVAC, and now they're gearing more towards home improvement services like flooring, foundations, roofing, siding, windows, and water restoration damage, among others. So you want to keep an eye on this advertising medium as these ads become available in your area for your remodeling services. If you don't have a strategy to two-way text message with your leads, you're also leaving money on the table. It really comes down to having this all-in strategy. It's not just SEO. It's not just Google local service ads. It's not just pay-per-click. You want a strategy to show up in all the places that your customers are looking when they need your services. So that's SEO, that's pay-per-click, Google local service ads, and social media. So this is what Google local service ads are. Now, if we run a search for a roofer in Austin, Texas, for example here, what comes up at the top are Google's local service ads. It's a 3-pack that goes horizontally across the page. It comes up above the map. It even shows up above the Google pay-per-click ads. Google also throws a Google Guaranteed badge next to it, which lends an extra degree of credibility to those companies. They're also using tracking phone numbers. They're not using your main office number. So basically, you're getting call-in leads directly into your business that are easily tracked. Google local service ads are impacting the search results pretty significantly because it used to be where pay-per-click dominated the top of the search results page, and then Google Maps results were below that. But now we have the Google local service ads above the pay-per-click results, and then the Maps results, and finally organic results are way down the page. And it's the same with search results on mobile too, where organic results are far down the page and are less and less likely to generate clicks for your website. So you can't sleep on this new strategy of Google local service ads as it starts rolling out for your services in your area. These ads show up too prominently and thus become easily clicked on by customers searching for your services. So the way it works is there's an application process for Google local service ads. Google will run a background checks on you and your employees through Pinkerton. Once you're approved, you'll pay on a per lead basis. Generally, it's somewhere between $20 and $40 per lead. It will vary by industry and by geographic area as well. And one thing to note is that as these leads become more prevalent across all industries, and as they become more popular, the prices are sure to rise. The feedback on the leads from our clients that are using the Google local service ads is that it's generally been lower cost per lead than pay-per-click, notably because it typically takes several clicks through to your pay-per-click landing page for every phone call that you eventually get. And with Google local service ads, you're only paying when you have a legitimate lead that called in and that was on the phone for at least 30 seconds. So along with finding that it's lower cost per lead, it tends to be much higher quality than often maligned sites like HomeAdvisor. And I won't go into that. We all know the story behind HomeAdvisor. Now, you're still going to get some price offers, but without a doubt, it works well. And the clients that are on board for it, for the most part, are getting a solid return on investment. Again, it's all about your follow-up processes. Overall, I think everyone should be exploring this option. I really think it's kind of a no-brainer. If you're a client of ours, all you need to do is talk with your account manager, and they can help you get started. We'll work with you to get the background checks done, get you signed up, get the process kind of off the ground for you. We can help you put the tracking in place, make sure you know your numbers, how much are you spending on your local service ads, how many of those jobs are getting booked, what's the return on investment. If the return on investment is there and it makes sense, then you're off to the races. And I would say continue to utilize these ads as long as you can, and as long as it makes sense as part of your overall marketing plan. All these marketing channels have probably given you a lot to think about. What you already are implementing, but can improve upon, and what you should be adding to your digital marketing strategy. So as you think about that, I want to share a couple of case studies of these strategies in the real world and what the results can look like once you get this dialed in and get to the place where you have a comprehensive strategy. A strategy that features your website, that converts leads through SEO, through pay-per-click, social media systems, as well as strategies to help you convert your leads at the highest rate possible. When you look at a comprehensive digital marketing strategy, the impact that it can have on your results and for your clients can be pretty dramatic. Not only will you see a positive return on investment and growing revenues when done right, but you'll also be able to serve more clients in the communities that you serve. So I'll make this really quick because I want to make sure this training is as actionable as possible for you. But one of the companies that we work with is DC General Contracting and Roofing in Melbourne, Florida. We developed a new website for them that is built to convert. We have a phone number in the top right-hand corner. We have multimedia that shows a lot of personality and authenticity, easy conversion elements, the ability to engage via web form, and beautiful picture galleries of their previous work. This client has invested in SEO and Google Maps optimization, and by ranking for several high-value keywords, they have been able to generate around 55 to 60 high-quality leads per month, with some busier months totaling as many as 90 leads in a single month. And their cost per lead is an astoundingly low $58 per lead, which translates into return on investment numbers that hardly seem believable until you ask them about their new boat purchase, purchasing a new barge for their soon-to-be launched marine construction division, and more vacations in 2020 than you can shake a stick at. They've been busier than they ever have been in the history of their company, and their revenues are growing quite substantially year over year. And with a newfound interest in marine construction and the unsatisfied demand in their area, they have commissioned us to build them a separate website for their new marine construction division of their company, and we will also be tailoring a targeted SEO and Google Maps strategy for this website as well. The key to their success has been effective SEO that has made their brand visible in search, where previous to working with us, they didn't exist in Google search results for all intensive purposes. Our social media campaign for them has been a big hit too, with a growing list of followers, consistent monthly engagement, and a brand image that has made them more proud of their company than ever. So it's really about trying to use as many marketing channels as possible to grow your brand visibility and increase your lead volume with high quality leads. Another case study features a home remodeling and design build firm in Seattle, Washington. We started with the same foundation for Classic Remodeling Northwest, Inc. That is, a fully optimized website that is built to convert and that contains crafted messaging to target higher-end clientele that they want to work with. By helping them dominate the Google Maps rankings as well as the Google organic rankings, they have been able to consistently increase annual revenues year over year, and they're able to do this with very modest per lead cost, just over $100, which I'm pretty sure anyone would be ecstatic with as they chart a path to achieving seven figures in annual income and growing year over year. By having a well-optimized website with all the necessary conversion elements, as well as real imagery that instills trust in this organization, as well as customer testimonials, they have been able to achieve a great ROI. And when we run their ROI numbers, their return on investment, it becomes very clear that their marketing investment with us is paying great dividends, and that lets them know their marketing dollars are being well spent and their goals are being met. I wanted to share these case studies with you because I thought it would be useful to kind of think through what you can do to maximize your own lead flow, how to maximize your conversion rate, and really take your company to the next level. So at this point, you've set some goals now, you've looked at the big picture. At this point, I want to give you some homework, and that's to audit yourself. On page 8 of your workbook, there's this document right here that you see. It's the Ultimate Online Marketing Checklist. I want you to go through this as your homework, okay? Do this as soon as we finish up today's training session. Go through the checklist, Don't put it off, because then you'll get busy and then you'll never get around to it. There will be certain things that you'll be able to check off, and that will be great, that you're already ahead of the curve on those. And then other things you'll either be unclear about, or you'll realize you need to work on this aspect or that element or some element that we have discussed to this point so far. Those items that you need to tighten up for part of your strategy, I want you to circle those items, because that is really going to be the things that are going to move you to the accomplishment of your 2021 goals. So then, what have been your takeaways regarding optimizing your website for maximum conversion? What did you learn? What did you notice about your own website that you are committed to working on? So we've come a long way in our training today. We've set our goals for 2021. We talked about the key fundamentals. We talked about optimizing your website for conversion. We looked at the big picture and the different online marketing strategies that we can put into play. We looked at the latest trends in 2021, and we developed a specific action plan, which really this checklist of the things that you need to do in order to make sure that you hit your goals and hit your targets going into 2021. At this point, I'd like to ask, if you feel like you need some help with this and you feel like you'd like to have our team look at your digital strategy, if you would like us to look at your website, look at your conversion elements, look at how you're following up with leads potentially, if you would like some help with this, then just drop a "Let's Talk" in the comments. If you'd like to just chat about our services, about how we can work together to help you implement some of this, to help you propel your company forward, how we can help you make 2021 the best year ever for your company, then just drop us a note in the comments. So again, if you'd like to talk, you can either put "Let's Talk" in the comments, or you can call us here at 855-235-9140, or just go to homeremodellerseo.com/schedule. If you go there, you'll be able to pick a time on our schedule that works for you, and we'll look at your website, we'll look at your rankings, we'll look at the conversion elements, and we'll be able to explain to you how we can help. Great. I see a bunch of "Let's Talks" coming in the comments. Thanks. I appreciate that. Great. Awesome. We'll follow up with you. Dean, Karen, Paul, we'll be reaching out to you to get that scheduled ASAP. Or if you prefer, you can always call us or go to our website and reach out to us when you're ready. So I want to give a reward for those of you that stuck around to the end. I promised I was going to give you the checklist, the online dominance method, and the list of the most commonly searched keywords. So just post in the comments that you'd like the goodies that I promised you, and we'll be sure to get all those out to you. I want to make sure that you get these items to help you going forward into 2021. I see some comments coming in, so great. Keep those coming. We'll make sure to get these documents out to you and help you make 2021 your best year ever. So that's a wrap, everyone. Thank you guys so much for your time. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join me on today's training. I'm super excited about seeing you take your company to the next level in 2021 and really maximizing your lead flow and hitting those goals and hitting those targets that you've set professionally and personally for yourself. Reach out if you'd like to work with us. Again, post "Let's Talk" in the comments, and we'll reach out to you, and we'll really roll up our sleeves and build a plan together that can help you implement your best marketing plan and make 2021 your best year ever. Hopefully you've got great value from today's session. It was an honor to share with you guys. I'm excited to see where we go in 2021, and I'll look forward to talking with you all again soon. Thanks again for attending.